Hi, I'm Ranger Erin, and today we are wondering about the question, what is water quality? When we say water quality, what we're trying to get at is how good the water is. And that's different from the question of quantity, which means how much is there? And we oftentimes think about that question, how much there is, instead of the question of how good it is, when sometimes how good it is just as important as how much there is. So we're going to be thinking about quality. Again, that means how good is that water. And for a natural body of water, so we're talking a creek, a river, a pond, or a lake, what it means to have good water quality out in the wild means that there's lots of different types of things living there. So not just one type of thing, lots of one type of thing, but lots of different types of animals and plants and other types of creatures that live in that water. It also means that there's going to be plenty of oxygen in the water for all of those insects and fish for them to breathe. And then you also guessed probably pollution. So there's going to be low or no pollution in that water. Bad water quality, on the other hand, might mean that there is very little living there, or maybe there's a lot of only one type of thing living there. So maybe if you've ever come across a really old pond that is really choked with algae, kind of has bad water quality because it has too much of one thing living in there. And then also that might affect how much oxygen there is in the water. So same as up here on land, all of these animals out here need some oxygen to breathe. So we breathe it through the air, but there also can be oxygen in the water. And if there's not enough oxygen in the water, then those insects and those fish are going to have a hard time getting all the oxygen that they need. So if it's too hot, sometimes there's not enough oxygen, or if there's, again, too much of something living in there, it might kind of suck up all the oxygen for all of the other creatures. And then bad water quality also probably means that there is at least one type of pollution, or maybe several types of pollution in that water. When we think about pollution, we often think right away about trash and chemicals that might be in the water. And those are two bad kinds of pollution, but there are also lots of other different types of pollution that can affect our water quality. So one that happens here in Kentucky a lot is some sediment or dirt runoff. So think about all those places that are doing construction around town. They don't have any grass or trees holding all of that dirt in place, and every time it rains, more dirt washes into the water, and then it kind of clogs up all of the water for all of those animals that are living in that water. But some other things that might be in that water are heat from power plants that can make it too hot again for that oxygen. There might be too much food, so either from sewage or from fertilizers that are being kind of run off from our big yards or grasses and other places like that. If we're not careful about how we put down that stuff, that can end up kind of making that water quality not quite so good because it's running off into our water. Good water quality means good habitat for all of our aquatic animals. So again, aquatic means those animals that are living in the water. And many of the animals around Kentucky, we have some special ones that can really only be found in this area of the world. So we've got a lot of freshwater mussels that we want to protect, and we've got a lot of cool salamanders that really depend on having good water quality. It's also going to mean good habitat for all of those animals that live on land but come to visit those water sources, either to eat some food, so they dig in there for some of those crayfish, or they're going to be coming over to take a drink. So good water quality for water and land animals. And good water quality also really affects people. So everywhere around the world, people originally get their water from some natural source. So they're going to take that water, they're going to clean it up, and it's going to run through pipes through your cities and then come out of the tap water that you drink. But it did come from some natural place. And the better the water quality, the easier it is to clean. So you can imagine that really dirty water is going to be very expensive to clean, and it's going to be really hard to clean. And sometimes it can be so hard to clean that it's really not possible for us to clean it all the way. And that leaves people drinking dirty water, and then they get sick, and that's not something that anybody wants. So the better the water quality in the wild means the better the water quality coming out of your tap for that water that you drink. In Louisville, we get our water from the Ohio River, and we really depend on the people upstream from us to protect that water quality because that's the water that we drink. So when they pollute that water, that's something that we have to deal with. And likewise, it's up to us to protect the water for the people that are downstream. So as that water flows through here, if we pollute it a lot, the people downstream are going to have to deal with that because that's the water that they drink. We're going to do our outdoor activity first because that's going to help to inspire our indoor activity. And for your outdoor activity, you're going to go out to some body of water. So I'm out here in Floyd's Fork in our creek, and we're going to do a creek exploration because we said that one way that you can kind of get a little clue into how good that water quality is how many different types of things are living there. So we're going to go on a creature hunt. We're going to be looking for different types of animals and other types of creatures, maybe some plants out here. So you're going to take note of all of the different types of things. And again, you don't need to know what they are, just kind of notice, well, this one looks a little bit different from that one. So a lot of our animals are going to be hiding under rocks, so you're going to be flipping over rocks. You are going to be looking closely at those creatures. You are welcome to take notes. You're welcome to draw pictures of them. That'll help you for that indoor activity. Once you find some of those creatures, I've got a little mayfly right here that's kind of crawling across. I've got a couple of aquatic snails. Here's a little water penny over here that's really stuck tight to that rock. So you're just going to check out those creatures, but again, a lot of them are going to be needing to breathe underwater, so only hold on to them for just a moment, and then we're going to go ahead and put them back in the water. For your indoor activity, you're going to make a mural of all of the different types of animals that you saw in that creek. And maybe even a few that you didn't see, but if you wanted to do a little bit of research, you could figure out what's living in there. Thanks for joining me. I'll catch you all next time.